Hey, it's Jamie with Thoughtful Horsemanship again. We are back with Jameson, the horse that bolts, and we are doing part 2 of groundwork continuation from yesterday. And today we're just going to basically do some of the same as we did yesterday. And you can see that he's still not lunging the greatest, but I do get some more forward movement. And he does it a lot easier and a lot quicker than what he did yesterday, so that is a great improvement. I fast forwarded this video quite a bit because this was a longer session, and I know you don't want to sit here and watch the whole session for 40 minutes. So by fast forwarding it, you can see the basics of what I've done and how I've let him kind of just step and stop and think about what he's worked on. And this is all real big, important things for him as he progresses in his learning. Allowing him to stop and think and not just push him through. I do think that he is quite shut down, and so he's internalized a lot. And then when he gets to be having too much of a stimulus or too much overload, that is probably what makes him blow up, is what I'm guessing. I've not seen videos or pictures or anything like that of him blowing up. I'm just going off of what the owners have said. But in this case, we are just trying to build a foundation, go back to some basics, go back to some basic groundwork, so that hopefully he doesn't have that same response. Being that there are some issues that he needs that's even on the ground tells me that, we need to work forward before even getting in the saddle. But today's sessions showed me that, I think he is making a lot of progress. He's trying. He's a lot more open to what we worked on. It's still slow progress, but it is progress, and I'm really excited about that. Some of this is really boring to watch, and that's why I did fast forward it. As you can see, just asking him to flex, just asking him to bend, and then waiting for him to kind of process it, drop his head a little bit, lower his his head and neck, lick and chew, that sort of thing. I don't want him to feel pressured by doing anything. And this guy is a good example of, how someone would teach a horse how to flex. He's pretty stiff. He is older, and he does have some signs of arthritis, but, he can bend that head all the way around, especially when there was a fly on his side. But when you ask him to, especially with that halter and lead rope, he kind of resists a little bit, gets a little heavy, doesn't want to bend or anything. So that's part of it, and that's part of life. And, he's come a long ways even from yesterday of what he's been doing. So I'm really excited about that. But as you can see, he's just mostly kind of content. He hangs out. He does look around a little bit, which is fine. I allow him to kind of look around, but then I do ask him to kind of, come back and pay attention. There you can see that, he looked completely bent all the way around. So we do know he can bend. He can flex if he really wanted to. He's not a super spooky horse. The wind is kind of banging the feed sacks on the side of the round pen there. The cats are running in. The dogs are running in. And he's pretty much unfazed by most of it. He does have some responses at the very end, but he's pretty unfazed. And I'm, like I said, getting really excited by him learning how to flex. And so you can see when he does flex that I'm just asking for a little bit at a time. I basically pick up, take contact with that lead rope, and then I milk the lead rope like you would milk a cow, one finger at a time to tighten it. And then I may slowly jiggle it and increase pressure until I get some sort of response. If he turns away from the pressure, I will hold the pressure at that still steady pressure, not increasing it, but most definitely not decreasing it either. And sometimes I notice that if he stands too long, he tends to stiffen up as well. So that's another thing, just kind of working with him and getting him, a little bit looser. little bit more freer flowing to follow through. I think some of these older guys have been around the block, and they kind of get it in their head through unintentional training that you know somebody's got to really make them do something, and that is not what we want. We want him more connected with me, more connected with the person that's working with him, his rider, whoever it may be. And so he likes to look around, which is fine, but he's very unresponsive as far as like moving his feet or, you know, as far as being reactive. And so I want him to be able to realize that he can come back to me, pay attention to me. And that's why I do take the time that I take to let him associate that I am paying attention to him. I am trying to understand him just like he's trying to understand me. And so every horse learns differently, just like every kid or every person learns differently. So it's not a one size fits all for horse training. And so that's why I try to keep an open mind whenever we do some of these things. There he had a huge letdown. He really looked and chewed, which was really good. Oftentimes when I would be doing this with him, he would start to like have a quiver. He would maybe just take a sigh, and then that's as far as he would go, and I would have to wait and wait a little bit more. And he most definitely took his time to kind of process things and figure things out. And so now today I'm going to add the bridle, and all I have is a 3-piece snaffle bit. Nothing too harsh. We're not going to put anything crazy in his mouth or anything like that. Just like I said, a snaffle bit that's a 3-piece, like a dog bone. Because some horses, they don't like the nutcracker effect. So this bit won't be that nutcracker effect. It won't have, something sticking up into the roof of his mouth. And he was actually surprisingly a lot lighter with the snaffle than he was in the halter and lead rope. And so going back to the halter and lead rope, sometimes they do better if that lead rope is actually snapped to the side of the halter, kind of like a side pull, and you get a direct pull versus from the bottom. And so that could be something that I try tomorrow, depending if I can find a large enough side pull to work for him, or if I can kind of rearrange my lead rope on my halter. But he did a lot better than I expected with this snaffle, so I was really excited. Seemed to make some headway. So tomorrow I'm hoping to do a lot more and hopefully get a little further with him, and we can see how he does. So stay tuned for tomorrow. If you have any questions, any comments, let me know. Thanks, guys.